What's going on, everybody? I want to talk to you today about Caramel Apple Nachos. I'm going to show you how we make them as a company and some of the toppings we use, the caramel, the whipped cream, and how we make them, how we present them, how we price them. This is Mike, the Caesar of concessions. All right. So walking caramel apples, apple nachos, whatever you want to call them, they are just a great product to sell during the year. Now, as far as seasonality goes, man, they are great in the fall. We have tried them during the summer with okay success, but when it comes to the fall, we absolutely crush it with them. So I want to show you everything you need before we begin. So you're going to need an apple core slicer. You're also going to need something to cut them on. Cutting board, right? Use some kind of cutting board. Next, you're going to need an apple. Let's talk about the apples, right? Red or green apples. That is really up to you and your taste, how you want to do it. We use red apples because they're a little sweeter, but if you want something tart to go along with all the sweet toppings you're going to add, maybe you'll want to go with a green apple. So let's get through some of the toppings that we use. Many M&Ms. These are great, traditional. I think this is probably what most people will order. It's at least our most popular one. Now I will say, when you use these and you have gloves on, they stick to them. So you may want to do something like this, add them to it, and then sprinkle them on. They have much bigger sizes than this, but I would show this as for representation. Reese's Pieces, of course you'd want the big bag if you're going to do it in bulk, but Reese's Pieces are great. Here's a couple more I want to show you. Twix, you just bust them up. You could put the actual Twix in a Ziploc bag, bust them up to get them as small as you want them, so you can sprinkle them all over your apple nachos, your caramel apple nachos. I mean, can you go wrong with Reese's Peanut Butter Cups? I don't think so. So these are another thing you can add. Also, Snickers, right? I mean, you can bust these up as well, sprinkle them on top. So you give your customers a wide variety of different toppings as they can choose from. Let's talk about presentation. So, you can use boats or you can use something like this. And let me show you. I've already cut up an apple and what it looks like, right? So, it's got a really nice presentation to it. These are kind of a pain, I will say that. There are also clear boxes you can use. But what I do like about these, they have the slots for the apple. And then you can put your toppings on, then with the whipped cream. And the caramel, of course. So we need to talk about the caramel. Okay. So there's a couple different ways you can do this, right? This is a name brand Smucker's Caramel in a squeeze bottle. Let me make some room over here just for a minute before we get started making these. And then you also have the glass jar. Now, this is easier to use in a serving setting. However, I will say the tastes are vastly different. And let me show you what I mean here before we get into making these. So, the squeeze bottle, and I want to show you this, it's really thin. Even for a name brand, if you use it, look how thin this is, right? Even for a cheaper, if you use a cheaper one, it's even thinner than this. Look how so for ease of use, this is really nice. However, this is a much richer taste, okay? And I'm going to show you, you can just even look at a comparison. So it's thicker automatically. Look at that. It's like molasses. But it's not hard, right, to serve it up. You can just put the spoon in and drizzle it all over. And look at it off the spoon. Like, you can see the difference between the two. And the color difference is, this is more of like a honey color, and this is more rich. So the cheaper the brand, the more thin it's going to be. Not that Smucker's is a cheap brand. I'm just telling you, the squeeze bottle is thinner, and the cheaper the brand of the squeeze bottle, the thinner it's going to be. This is what we use primarily. Okay. Before I continue on with making this, I have a membership group. It is only $2 a month. We do workshops. Guys, we got so many members. And we get together twice a month. And we talk in voice chat. And we have workshops. And you can talk to other vendors throughout the country and the world. Pretty incredible. So I'll leave a link in the description if you want to join a membership group. Again, it's only $2. So we talked about the differences of the syrup. So let's go ahead, and you also, I can't believe I forgot this, got to have whipped cream. So if we're going to present this in a boat, let's say, when you use an apple core, you're going to have 8 slices, okay? Now I've taken the liberty of cutting one, so you don't have to watch me go through that process, right? But it's not hard to cut them. You just take the core out, and you can present this in a myriad of different ways. So let's just show this right quick. So here's one way to present it in a boat, right? I mean, it's kind of flat, and you would drizzle the caramel on top and then put your toppings and the whipped cream. I mean, that's one way to do it, and it's easily accessible for the customer. However, I do think this presents a better presentation. Now, I will say, it's not as easy. They like to slip around the old apples here, right? They want to slip around. And in these particular ones, we only have 6 slots for the apples to go. And in the apple core, you're going to have 8, right? So you could probably put one down in the middle here. So let me show you that. So there's 7 slices versus if you had it in the boat, you probably do all 8. So there's that, okay? So next, let's go ahead and do the caramel next, okay? We're going to use a good caramel for this. I mean, the color difference between a squeeze bottle and the glass is just, it's definitely different. So look, so here, right? You're just going to go real gentle-like, and you're just going to drizzle it a little bit. Use a spoon to guide it. That's it. Now look, I mean, it's a little bit more of a mess as well than the squeeze bottle. So it's really up to you and how you want to do it. When we're done with service, this thing is like coated, right? But that's what it is. Or you can just pour it over the top. Using a spoon, it'll help you guide it in. So, using M&Ms, right? So you can do a little bit of this, right? And this is why I like these. You can really portion control the M&Ms a little bit, although I did drop a couple there, as you can see. Now this is just for us, so yeah, we're gonna throw that one back on. Now the whipped cream, I haven't really noticed a difference between expensive or the more inexpensive whipped cream, but now someone who is much more, better with their hands or whatever, can make it look a little bit better. But here's how we're looking, right? We draped the caramel. And the clear ones are great because of the presentation that they offer when somebody is carrying this around, okay? Then again, hopefully with some portion control, right? We're gonna put the M&Ms on top, give it a nice little look. I mean, I think the presentation is wonderful for it, particularly in a clear container. You can't beat it. Now, let's talk about pricing. Okay, let me move this off to the side here. You talk, it really, really depends upon what products you're using, how much your apples are. But let's just ballpark this, right? You got anywhere between $1 and $1.50 into this. Guys, this can go anywhere between $5 and $8, depending upon how you want to sell it, what event you're at, all of that stuff. Now, you can serve it with a spoon, a fork, whatever, right? But I think the presentation is beautiful. And Walking Caramel Apples, I highly recommend trying them out. They work for any business. And honestly, once you get into the groove, you have them out in under a minute to actually make. So they don't take very long. They're not going to hold up your line or anything like that. This video is sponsored by the one and only kettlecornmachine.com. They have the best kettle corn and lemonade equipment in the market. Thank you for watching. This is Mike, the Caesar Concessions, out.